Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Leah and most of my videos are focused on unsolved crimes and mysteries. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Before I start today's video, I want to apologize to some of my subscribers because I know you've been waiting patiently for a new video on the Tyler Weathersby case, and I hate to be the one to give you the bad news, but that's probably not going to happen. Something crazy happened while I was investigating this case and following this case, and I was personally attacked by a lot of people. I was following a group that wanted to find out what happened to Tyler and was trying to find him. And you know, in a missing persons case, in a group like this, everybody is asking questions, sharing theories, sharing new information, footage, pictures, text messages, everything that people can find. They share it in the group because they want everyone's opinion about what they think. They are sharing theories and blah blah blah, so on and so on and so on, because everybody just wanted Tyler to be found, including me. And for those of you who knows me, I have a very big heart and I just want to help people. I don't care if I know them or their family or their friends. If I see a case where I can possibly help, I will. I'm not getting paid by anyone. I'm not asking anyone for money. I just want to help. That's it. I think I made about 100 videos on different cases, and I did find new evidence. I did find new suspects. I did find new theories. I found new information in a lot of the cases. And I wanted to do the same for Tyler because, I don't know, something just felt like this guy needs help. If it's from me, the PI, the police, 8,000 volunteers in the Tyler Weathersby group, he needs to be found no matter what. And my intentions are good. I'm actually a very nice person. Maybe people think I'm a bit weird sometimes, but who isn't? But people started doubting my intentions. All I did was share the news on my Facebook that I was gonna release a video. And then, pooh, everything exploded. People were questioning my intentions. They were saying I only got involved in this case to get likes on my YouTube videos. People were criticizing my spelling. They couldn't take me seriously because there was spelling mistakes when I was writing things. I'm Danish, I'm not English. So sometimes when I make comments, my mobile phone mixes the English and the Danish language. So yeah, there can be spelling mistakes, and so what? So what? And it was just, I can't even describe it. It was shocking. I felt like I was back in high school with a bunch of bullies. Even the admin in the group was attacking me in public and saying a lot of very bad things about me and my intentions. It was like poison spreading like wildfire. And I was like, you know what? My intentions are good. I have a very big heart. I just want to help people. I'm not putting up with this. I am doing this in my own free time. I have a lot going on in my life, and I actually took everything that's going on in my life right now and put it aside because I wanted to help find Tyler. And then I have to put up with this? I don't think so. So I signed out of this case and I deleted 995 files on my computer. It took forever to build the video. And I guess that just happens sometimes. I never tried it before. I have never, ever been treated this way in any of the hundreds cases that I've been working on. It's unacceptable. It was shocking. I was very angry. But I'm over it now and it's time to move on to a new case. But I have to say to Tyler's family that I wish you the best of luck, and I hope and pray that Tyler, he's found very, very soon. But that's it, and I think we should just move on to the next case. And today we're going to be talking about Miranda Corsette. Miranda Corsette was a very, very sweet 16-year-old girl. She was also the mother of an 11-month-old baby. Miranda lost both her parents, so she was living in Gulfport, Florida, with her grandmother, where she was being homeschooled and cared for. Miranda had some mental health issues and had a history of substance abuse, and she was also known to be a runaway. But even though she was a runaway, she would always return home. Miranda, being a 16-year-old girl looking for that everlasting love, she decided to create a profile on a dating app. She came in contact with a 35-year-old man named Stephen Gress, and they started talking and texting with each other. Miranda was very flattered because Stephen was being very charming towards her and giving her a lot of compliments. And on February 14th, 2025, Stephen invited Miranda to his house so they could celebrate Valentine's Day together. Miranda accepted the invitation and she was really, really excited. Miranda's grandmother said that she was watching Miranda get ready for her Valentine's date, and she couldn't have been happier for her. Everything was so new, it was so exciting, and it was so romantic, and Miranda, she couldn't wait. Later that day, Stephen, he came to her house and picked her up, and they drove back to his house where they had an amazing night together. Stephen drove Miranda back home later that night, and Miranda told her grandmother everything about her night. It had been amazing and so romantic. The next day, Miranda, she went back to Stephen's house. Stephen had a girlfriend named Michelle, but they were allegedly living in an open relationship. Miranda, she stayed there for almost a week. But on February 24th, Miranda's grandmother hadn't heard anything from her. She couldn't get a hold of her, and that was not like Miranda at all. Even though she's known to be a runaway, she always returned home, but this time she didn't. So Miranda's grandmother, she decided to file a missing persons report. Miranda's cousin also went online on Facebook asking the public for help to find her cousin Miranda, because this behavior was very unusual. She also told the public that the police didn't take the case seriously because Miranda had a history of substance abuse and being a runaway. Days went by and Miranda, she didn't reach out to anyone, and no one could get a hold of her. But on March 6th, the police received a tip about a possible kidnapping and homicide. They were also made aware of Stephen and Michelle's very strange behavior. They decided to go to their house and investigate, but Stephen was already in jail. He had been arrested the day before for aggravated assault against Michelle, and he had also been threatening her with a harpoon gun.
Get on the ground right now! Last warning! He shared this video from Wednesday showing police arresting Gress, accused of threatening Michelle Brandis with a harpoon.
The police got very suspicious and they started a very serious investigation, and this is what they found. Miranda was staying with Stephen and Michelle in their house, and on February the 20th, just 4 days before her grandmother reported her missing, Michelle accused Miranda of stealing a ring from her. Miranda was very surprised and shocked and denied everything. She didn't steal anything from her. Michelle went completely ballistic and involved Stephen as well. They tied her up to a chair and they started beating her. After several days of beatings, Stephen and Michelle, they forced a billiard ball into Miranda's mouth. And then they wrapped plastic around her head. Miranda, she couldn't breathe and she was suffocating very slowly. Eventually, it came out that Stephen, he had poked some holes in the plastic to help Miranda breathe. But by the time he did that, it was already too late. Stephen is seen on footage carrying what's believed to be Miranda's body out to his car, where he places her inside his trunk. Then Stephen and Michelle, they get in the car and they drive to Michelle's mother's house, where they allegedly used a chainsaw to dismember Miranda. When they were done, they drove to Ruskin in Hillsborough, where they put the remains in a dumpster. It also came out that at least 6 people they knew that Miranda was being held against her will. And they also knew that they were beating her day in and day out for days. And nobody reported anything to the police.
Listen.
The girl in the corner? Yeah. That's her body? Yeah. Hey. So how the hell you gonna get her out of? I'm gonna figure out right now. Don't kill her. I don't want to see the police up in here. Why you had to rain, honey? Just getting cool.
Stephen and Michelle, they lived in a duplex, which meant that they had an upstairs neighbor. And that neighbor upstairs, she was a beautiful woman, and Stephen, he wouldn't leave her alone. He was harassing her. And this is what she said.
I was warned about him when I moved in by my lovely neighbor who lived upstairs from him, not the current one, but the previous one. So I was warned, and, I kind of minded my own business, kept my wits about me, and he was respectful towards me.
What was the warning? I'm curious, Adrian. What was the warning about him? What were you told?
So I was told that he had a very in-depth criminal past. He had been in jail, and he was just not a good person. So yeah, that kind of, set off some alarms with me. And, he was respectful towards me until he wasn't. He had actually... So I had accidentally backed into a car when I first moved in. And so I left my name and my number on the car saying, hey, I live right here. Give me a call. We can figure it out. I hit your car. So instead of the driver of the vehicle reaching out to me, Steve took my number off of the vehicle and proceeded to text me with very explicit, unsolicited sexual advances. And that was, the beginning of everything. And when I declined those advances and told him to leave me alone and never contact me again, he did not listen, and he continued to come to my house at midnight to deliver mail to me that was in his box. And instead of just putting it in my box, he would knock on my door and kind of, look around and wanted to talk to me. So he did that a couple times before I even, had the issue with the car. So he continued to harass me and come to my property when I had asked him not to. And I told him if he did it again, if he didn't stay away from me, that I'd be getting the police involved. And he didn't like that very much, responded with a pretty nasty text message back to me. And I decided it was time to call the police. And they had responded very well to my call.
Do you understand, Adrian? I don't know if you let yourself think about this. That could be you wrapped in that blanket.
I know.
In that trunk.
Absolutely. And we had gotten in multiple altercations after I had called the police as well. So that was not an isolated event. He had actually, after the police came and they went over and kind of put the fear of God in him and told him to leave me alone. And, so we had some beef after that. And I was helping his neighbor move out one day while he was not home, and they shared a driveway. So I was helping her move out because of him. She also had to move out because of him. I was helping her move, and he pulled back into the driveway and started screaming at me, screaming obscenities, kind of getting in my face. And I had to remove myself from that. So yeah, I think about that all the time. It could have absolutely been me, for sure.
Adrian, you actually asked the question, quote, Do I have to either be physically assaulted or die in order for this guy to have a single consequence for his actions? Is that how you felt at the time?
Yes, because when I had called the police, they were wonderful, by the way. They really listened to me, and they urged me to get down to the police station to file an emergency restraining order against him because they knew how dangerous he was. So I did that. I filed all the appropriate paperwork, and shortly after that, I was denied the restraining order. And that is when I was, getting very fearful for my life because of that denial.
Why were you denied a restraining order on this guy?
The reason was that the courts decided that they could not get neighbors to get along with each other. It was not their responsibility to make us get along.
Do you remember the judge that did that?
I do.
Who?
I won't be sharing any names.
Judge? You're going to make me go look it up in the court records? I'm happy to.
It's public record. You can find it.
Don't worry, I'll find it. Adrian, when you learned about the current allegations against your former neighbor, Stephen Gress, what went through your mind?
I was sick to my stomach because I knew how dangerous this man was, and I tried my best to get him out of that house, and I'm not the first woman who has broken their lease to get away from that man. But apparently I am the first woman who called and reported him for it. So, I really wanted to come on the show today to my purpose is to encourage women who are going through something like this, if they're being harassed, if they're being assaulted, anything like that. I know that we just want to get out of the situation as quickly as possible and not worry about it. But it's so important to look after one another, and it's so important to report it. Because not only are you looking after yourself, but you're looking after the women who will be victims after you.
Unbelievable. I can't believe it. We would have never thought in a million years.
David Horton says Stephen Gress was a menace at this duplex on 27th Avenue North.
He was chasing the girl around, one of the girls down there with it, as you'll see on your video.
Get on the ground right now, last warning!
There was a lot of fighting always going on. Our landlord installed ring cameras for us, which we're very thankful for. That brought us a sense of safety, but definitely feeling safer now that he's off the streets. He was an intimidating fellow.
Stephen is now facing additional charges of kidnapping and first-degree murder. After 24 hours, Michelle turned herself in and she's now facing the same charges. This case is so gruesome and so brutal, and I can't even imagine what that poor girl she went through. Just thinking about having a billiard ball forced into your mouth and being wrapped in plastic so you can't breathe. She was only 16 years old. She had a full life ahead of her, and now a 1-year-old child is gonna grow up without a mother. I just saw an update on the case today, and I know that they're going for the death penalty for Stephen and Michelle. And I know there's a lot of opinions out there about the death penalty, so I'm going to keep my opinion to myself. But I definitely hope that justice is going to be served for Miranda and her family. I am very, very sorry for your loss. So that's it for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Until the next one, take care and stay safe.